Croque Monsieur towards the near side, Lamothe on the far side. These two from Vincent as they settle down in the early stages. Croque Monsieur towards the right of the picture as we see them now, just a little bit wide of them. Lamothe over on the far rail, Vincent's in between the two. Then come Arapaho and Ardross and Billion and Buttress and Noble Saint. It's Lamothe towards the left of the picture on the rail. The fractional lead in the early stages over Croque Monsieur. Just behind them come Vincent and Arapaho, then Ardross, then Billion. Behind Billion is Buttress, and then Lester Piggott on his 22nd Gold Cup ride, poised in behind them on Noble Saint. At this point, they'll have 2 furlongs to run after a complete circuit next time, and it's Lamothe in the lead from Croque Monsieur, Vincent, Arapaho, Ardross. Little gap then to Billion, Buttress, and Noble Saint. And a pretty good pace. And Joe Mercer ensuring with the French challenger Croque Monsieur that this is a proper stamina test, because these two horses are known to get the distance. Vincent's just in behind them, then Arapaho, then Ardross, then quite a gap to Billion, Buttress and Noble Saint. As they start to swing right-handed, Lamothe from Croque Monsieur, Vincent, Arapaho, Ardross, Buttress, Billion and Noble Saint. And already with 1.5 miles to run in the Gold Cup, it's a certainty that whoever wins it will have to really get the full distance, because they're going a very good pace indeed for a race over this trip. Lamothe running for the first time this season on the inside of Croque Monsieur for France, then Vincent, Arapaho, Ardross, Buttress, Billion and Noble Saint as they run down towards Swinley Bottom, 1.25 miles to run. Lamothe, last year's winner, Croque Monsieur, Vincent, Arapaho, Ardross, Buttress and the Royal Colours getting much closer now, then a gap to Billion and finally Noble Saint. They're racing towards the mile marker now. Lamothe on the inside of Croque Monsieur, then Vincent, behind Vincent, Arapaho, then Ardross, Buttress, a gap to Billion and Noble Saint, and they pass the mile marker. Lamothe on the inside of Croque Monsieur, Vincent, Arapaho, Ardross, Buttress, then Billion and Noble Saint. 7 furlongs to run in the Gold Cup, and Croque Monsieur for France takes the advantage now from Lamothe. Then comes Vincent, Arapaho is close, then Ardross just in behind them, then a little gap to Buttress, then comes Billion and Noble Saint, and they're racing to the 6 furlong marker now. And as they do so, it's Lamothe who goes back into the lead, being pressed by Arapaho now going second. Then comes Ardross, Vincent improving fast, Croque Monsieur is losing ground, Buttress has got plenty to do, they've got 5 furlongs to run, and it's Lamothe now from Arapaho, Vincent and Ardross for Ireland. Then comes Croque Monsieur, then Buttress, then Noble Saint getting a lot closer to them now, and then Billion. They're coming to the home turn now. Lamothe from Vincent and Arapaho, and Ardross back in 4th, then Buttress under pressure. Noble Saint is making ground. They're rounding the home turn now, and as they do so, it's Vincent the challenger to Lamothe, then Arapaho and then Ardross as they turn for home. And under pressure, Lamothe being pressed by Vincent, and then Ardross for Ireland coming there towards the right of the picture. And it's Lamothe on the far side, Ardross on the near side, Vincent in between horses. Then comes Arapaho. They're racing down to the furlong pole now, and it's Lamothe on the far side, Ardross on the near side. Lamothe and Ardross. Lamothe holding Ardross at the moment as they race up towards the line. Lamothe looks as though he's going to win it for the second time. Ardross still pressing him, but Lamothe is holding him, and as they come to the line, it's going to be very close. Lamothe is just going to win it. Lamothe wins the Gold Cup from Ardross second. Vincent is third, Billion 4, 5 came Arapaho, then Noble Saint, and behind him Buttress, and last was the French challenger Croque Monsieur. And so the result of the 1980 Gold Cup: first, number 6 Lamothe, owned by Mr. Carlo D'Alessio, trained by Henry Cecil and ridden by Joe Mercer. Second was number 2 Ardross, owned by Mr. Paddy Prendergast, trained by him and ridden by Christy Roach. And third was number 8 Vincent, owned by Mr. Dan Pren, trained by Jeremy Hindley and ridden by Brown Taylor. Fourth was number 3, Billion. So here is the hero of the 1980 Gold Cup. He's won it in successive years. He's won it after not having had a previous race this season. Gamely holding the horse on his left there as we see them, or on his right really, but on the left of our picture, Ardross, who put up such a gallant effort in a bid to win Paddy Prendergast his first ever Ascot Gold Cup. But Lamos, representing a brilliant training feat by Henry Cecil, who's trained him in a swimming pool as much as on the gallops, has won it for the second successive year, and a second triumph for Joe Mercer, who first won it in 1967. By a short head on Parbury, he now becomes the leading jockey here. Lamos was 3-1 favourite. Let's see how the favourite won the Gold Cup. Review.
It was a real test of stamina, as Peter said, and Brian Taylor moved up onto Lamos's quarters coming into the straight, but Lamos was too strong for him. And then Christy Roach threw down this challenge on the Irish challenger Ardross, and the three of them have drawn clear of the remainder of the field. You can see how much daylight there is, with Noble Saint, who was restrained early by Lester Piggott, a long way back. But Lamos simply won't go on, and although he hasn't had a race for I don't know how long, he's battled on with tremendous courage, and